Hey, MediaWise Church! You know those crosshairs under the flap of your cereal box? Okay, maybe you've never noticed, but there's a little symbol, a cross actually, used to calibrate, to align the four colors of the printing process on every box. Without those marks, nothing lines up. The image is muddied and blurry. This is a lesson I quickly learned while working paste up at the daily newspaper over 20 years ago. If you misalign the targets, the print job is ruined. These are the same techniques used on NASA's Perseverance rover, with calibration targets used to accurately position the robotic arms. This is calibrating for position, the target serving as a reference point, translating a known position to an unknown. But the rover also has calibration for perception. If you look closely, you'll also see small blocks of color, chiclets in size, black, white, gray, red, green, and blue. These are used to fine-tune the cameras, compensating for lighting conditions and sensor drift before each picture is taken. It's just like in the early days of color TV, where networks would display a test pattern after the last shows signed off for the night. Now, for most of us, it simply meant we need to recalibrate our priorities. Go to bed. But for the networks, these color bars ensured color accuracy, preventing color shift across generations of tape or network feeds. And calibrating for color perception is even possible on your computer with a device like this. Simply hang the sensor over your screen, press a button, and begin the calibration process, ensuring colors print exactly as you would expect. Comparing the test values with the expected values and calculating the difference is what brings a device back into calibration. Enter the calibration cast. Our heart's desire is to calibrate for both position, to ensure that we're in the right place, and perception, to ensure we're seeing things accurately. Consider with me for a moment the predicament the church finds herself in on social media. Struggling under the weight of misinformation, disinformation, manipulation, even ideological subversion, or just plain schemes with shady, dishonorable economic or political interests, we can ignore it no longer. The resulting deceptions, delusions, and divisions reverberate through the church with devastating effectiveness. Evidence of misplaced hopes, idols in our heart, pride in our eyes, being deceived and even blind to how out of alignment we've become. Calibration addresses these misalignments. God's word provides all the tools we need, but even so, we let our guards down on social media, unconcerned with the dangers, unaware of the tactics being used against us, and oblivious to our vulnerabilities. And for that reason, some of you are listening right now, thinking we're blowing this way out of proportion, that social media is not the issue. But you only need to ask a pastor what they're seeing on the front lines to discover it's systemic and pervasive. Many in the church are succumbing to it, ill-equipped to stand firm with little or no weapons to fight back. And that's precisely where the MediaWise Church project began. 3 years ago, a brother in the Lord posed a question that crystallized the issue for me and ultimately altered my entire trajectory on social media. He asked what benefit I had seen debating lies on social media. Truth be told, I had seen very little. And obviously this concerned me, but if he was proposing some kind of postmodern abandonment of truth, this concerned me all the more. If we can't engage using facts, if truth is not our ammunition, then where is the conversation? If there is a conversation at all. But in the months that followed, the ineffectiveness of facts became overwhelming to me. Ineffective in dislodging heels dug in with pride, useless in overcoming the deep-rooted skepticism and uncertainty over what facts to believe, a devastating side effect of the postmodern world we live in. Worse yet, it became apparent that introducing more facts to the conversation simply resulted in more frantic logical fallacies, more irrelevant whataboutisms, a deeper divide, greater disunity, and an increasingly smaller slice of a shared reality. And that's when it hit me. The endless debate proved ineffective not because of a failure to engage with the intellect, but a failure to engage with the heart. We are fundamentally dealing with matters of the heart. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick, as Jeremiah 17:9 puts it. My mistake was thinking that you can engage with the intellect in spite of a poorly calibrated heart, but I was wrong. No, a heart that is out of alignment is simply unable to engage with intellectual honesty. In good faith, with the mental plasticity necessary to embrace truth and discard lies. I'm guilty of it, you're guilty of it. With humility, we must admit it. Calibration must precede deliberation. without which none of the lies on social media can be exposed, none of the pitfalls avoided, none of the battles won. We are affirming that facts matter, truth matters, all the while acknowledging the wisdom of Jesus in the parable of the sower, which reminds us that truth can only germinate in the fertile soil, the softened, calibrated heart. And so, the MediaWise Church, a project to warn of the dangers of social media, to equip the church for the fight, and to inspire the way forward, actually begins with a conversation about calibration. A conversation where we fine-tune our thinking to Christ, filter out the static, and align our hearts with the cross, the registration marks of God's Word. There's simply no other way. This is where calibration begins. I encourage you to consider subscribing to our channel. Let's calibrate together. Be MediaWise, church.